They greenlit the sequel without a story in mind. They just wanted to equal an unexpected gold mine. He said, oh no, as Heston said, I got to go. These are just some of the facts you ought to know as we go. Beneath the minute of the apes. Beneath the minute of the apes. Beneath the minute of the apes.
The only good human is a dead human.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes films. I am a Deadpoolist too, Todd, and I've got Rich and Sean with me. One of these days I'll get to see it. That is the plight to being a father, that a lot of pop culture stuff hits.
You gotta wait.
And you basically have to put it
Especially when she's not R-rated material.
No,
legally.
And I can technically expose her to some stuff like that.
Well,
but,
with you being an adult, you can bring her in, but you prefer not to.
Well, to be fair, as an adult, and I'm sure a lot of parents, and this is why we put the monkey bleeps in, because we know parents listen to this kind of thing, but you watch the thing ahead of time. She wants to watch Game of Thrones with me, and I'm like, okay. No. I said, I'm like, okay, you might need to be more like 17. I can begin to see that you've got enough there that you understand these kind of things and can deal with it. At 15, no.
Can you like summarize like the first 5 seasons and then I'll start watching after season 6?
I can right now. You ready? Dragon with a chance of tits.
Okay.
Or tits with a chance of dragon.
I can't remember all the seasons specifically, but this is not Minute of the Apes. We totally checked out of Game of Thrones at a particular instance in season 6, I think it was.
I'm sorry.
That was so upsetting and so maddening that we took a year off. And apparently the producers heard everybody complain about this one moment so much that they dialed back everything that you're worried about her watching Game of Thrones in terms of it being on HBO. And it's a little bit of a still difficult and brutal show, but it is not quite as rapey as the first 5 seasons.
And granted, I knew what you were talking about right away, and those are the things that I want to protect her from, and but at the same time, I like, and it's one of the things that I get into with Planet of the Apes. I like filmmaking, storytelling that challenges me and is not comfortable. I like things, and I don't want to see somebody brutalized, but at the same time, we can go back to season 1 of Game of Thrones.
That happens in real life. People get brutalized.
And it's hard to sometimes put it into our entertainment. But if it's truthful to the character, at the same time, I'm like, that's truthful.
I think that...
Well, they do monstrous things to people in Game of Thrones.
I think that we're starting this minute out.
I know. Is this in between?
Wednesday. I've had a couple of beers. I will just say that I think that rape is lazy storytelling.
Fridging is lazy storytelling, stuff like that.
I think in order to show dominance or brutality towards a woman, they default to rape. As a writer, I see a lot of men do it writing, and I think it is lazy. I think it doesn't really show it's just easy, and I don't like it.
I don't disagree
I'm not saying it can't be powerful in the right context, but I think it's so easy that it happens with so much frequency that it's just not necessary.
I can completely see your point.
It shouldn't be a defining thing for a person.
I don't know that I agree that you should therefore completely remove it from storytelling.
It can't be a storytelling
I don't.
point.
But when it is used as a crutch to the inability,
lazy crutch, yeah.
when it's only used as a crutch to find a way of taking a female character down, which is what it's primarily used for, it's never like a complex story about why this moment is terrible.
Not.
It's typically, we have a strong female lead and we have to take her down. And how are we going to do that? We've got to brutalize her. How are we going to do that?
But at the same time, usually when I watch something like that, I'm going to watch, and to your comment, if the filmmaker looks and says, "Oop, I made a mistake," going forward, going to correct that. I give them the chance. They've been so spot on, so good with so many things.
They did Game of Thrones, but
now down to Planet of the Apes, they have not fixed anything.
Wow, that didn't happen.
Is this an in between?
We're really not making this an in between, but that was just an unexpected little turn.
The dragon rape was very low in this episode.
Yeah.
This minute.
All right, so we are a minute 38.
Yes.
Sean,
38.
tell us what's going on with Minute 38. And I'm pretty sure it does not involve anything that Richard and I will find objectionable or
I just
dragons.
totally went off.
3
Sorry.
living humans, 4 dead humans, 1 dead ape, a shootness of apes, a gaggle of humans, no dragons, and no boobies.
Well, we because we went off on those off the rails there. We haven't even said what happens in this minute yet.
Did we miss that?
Yes, we
I
did.
thought we did at the
We
beginning.
haven't played it yet, have we?
No, we've not played the clip yet. Tell us what
shit.
happens in
I
the minute.
mixed
And we'll
everything
play it.
up. As this minute, prison carts being minute 38. We have the prison cart. I am so upset by it.
He's Twitter flex over there.
All right, we start minute 38 with the prison cart riding towards the camera and ends with Brent staring at something.
So that we set things straight, let's listen to this minute.
All right, I already messed up the count. You know what's going on. And know what we start off with now? Rear projection.
Oh my gosh. Like, we have done so much in the shot to do everything outside that when they cut to a studio, it is so
I'm trying to
blatant.
think. In the previous movie, up to this point, in the first one, has there been rear projection?
I don't recall a rear
I
projection
think this is
moment.
the first rear projection in these movies.
We know why it's
Which
being
is
done, though,
shitty.
right?
Well,
It's lazy. It's easy.
It's two things.
It's in studio.
It's safer.
right.
Actually, probably 3. It's safer. It's more economical. And shit, I had a third point and I wanted to get it, but now I can't think. But essentially, you're not putting Franciscus in any jeopardy at all.
Or
They
Nova.
you can crank it in and out real quick.
For all we know, these were their inside shoot dates when the weather was outside, and that's it. We have a studio, we have rear projection shoot because we can't shoot outside.
So basically what's happening is Nova and Brent are in the wagon being led out of town, not to target practice, being led somewhere, who knows. And
we've been not double locked.
and the lock has
Right.
been unlocked. And while the solo guerrilla soldier is leading
Riding
the
the
horses,
cart, yeah.
riding the cart, Brent is able to come outside of the cart, come on top of it, kind of choke the guerrilla soldier, and then kind of a little bit fight ensues. What was really kind of obvious about this is all of the shots on Brent are rear projection. They're in
Yeah.
a studio. You've got a projector going and all that's happening. And then all the shots outside
Yeah.
of this action
Are
scene
actual, yeah.
are with stunt actors that are not, no tights are shot on them. Nothing is being done. The choreography matches really well.
The blue skies don't.
They mapped out the choreography, but it's a cut here, a cut there, a cut here.
Yeah.
When you go back and forth between these moments of inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, it's very jarring. And I want to go back to this moment of 1971. If audiences were able to kind of forgive
I think they were more
that,
forgiving.
I mean,
I think so too, because they didn't have any point of reference outside of that.
I went back and
we
watched.
don't have CG. We don't
Right.
have more. We can do things with a screen. What I'm thinking of, where you paint the screen and you shoot through it.
Rotoscoping? Oh, matting.
Matting. You could do matte painting, but that's not going to work on this. So
Right.
rear projection is the best that you have
Yeah.
when you do something
Return
like
of the Jedi was mind blowing to me, and then I went back and watched the original cut recently. I'm like, oh, that's like Stan Winston, like models moving,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
little
there's some
bits at a
bad
bit of
stuff.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't. When I watched it
But this is 15
3
this is
decades ago,
20
2
years
decades
before
ago, I was
that.
like,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
Well, our very spoiled eyes look at this right now because you don't have computer color timing to get the color of the blue skies.
they would
correct.
have changed exactly. They would have changed.
So
the
you
stuff in the
could
background.
do rear projection and get away with a little bit better because you would also have better lighting techniques.
Yeah.
People are going to understand that, even here's the thing. the way you fix that too is you put some foliage in front of the light source,
shadow and stuff,
so that the shadows have movement. They're riding past trees, and you figured that out.
Yeah, when it's a solid light on the guy and then it's backlit with him with the rear projection, it looks wrong.
The very first thing I ever did when I started in film production, I swear to God, the very first job I ever had was on a music guide for Dean Dillon, who wrote a lot of George Strait songs. He was sitting in a bar, and someone said, "Hey, take this shiny thing that they call an Elvis, and here's a light, and we want you to move it right to left over Dean's face, so it looked like car lights going past him." It's a cheat.
Instead of just being boring lighting.
Right. Yeah. It added the idea that he was in a diner and car lights were pulling in. And so if I can go find that music video, I'm the car lights out there. Somebody should have done this to James Franciscus and put leaf, in front of the light so you had shadows.
Well, make sure to put a link to this in our
I'll see if I can actually find that video. But it's not only that, but there's some odd edits at the 37:23. It goes from one of those moments where it's Franciscus to a live action. And it is usually, if you're going to cut on action, you cut on different angles. It cuts to a tighter,
right in the middle of it?
Right in the middle, in a tighter shot of the same thing. So it's almost like, do you remember at the end of Planet of the Apes when you guys kept saying, no, he rides past the torch? And I'm like, no, he's riding. And they just cut instead of panning with it. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
They've done it, and it is such a jar that it feels like if you're watching it, it feels like a jump cut.
We do get at 37:09. Brent does take off his diaper shoulder outfit thing that he's got on. I'm not really sure why he takes it off.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he decides to suddenly take the top piece that he's got. He suddenly decides to pull it off as he's about to go outside and perform
so he can look hot.
I guess so. The action sequence to choke the monkey.
Now, I want to be real fair about this sequence, though. There's a lot to bitch about, but there's also a lot to commend. They do not insert music here.
Boom! I had that there.
Which John Williams will always say, there is such power in knowing when not to score a moment.
I wanted Star Trek fight music. Very surprised there's no score during the fight.
So they just leave and you listen. It's just the sound of the carriage.
Yeah.
But the choreography was really spot on between what was happening outside with the stunt double and what was happening with James Franciscus. They mapped that out. I'd be amazed to find out if the actual stunt actor did all of those scenes outside.
So,
like if they were doing clip, they knew what they were going to cut to.
5 minutes earlier, we had the horse running across with both of them in it, and they had dramatic music playing, and then they shot the horse.
Yeah.
This one, they give nothing, no score on it. So why did they score that horse being shot? And this is not dramatic as far as they figure music-wise.
Well, I don't think that it's not dramatic. I think that I'll give shout out to a wonderful podcast right now called The Soundtrack Show, where this guy basically breaks down the great soundtracks. And one of the ones he obviously talks about early on is that influenced most people our age of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And he talks about how the scene of R2-D2 when he's captured by the Jawas was originally scored. But when you watch it, they took it away because what they realized is when R2-D2 gets shot and then makes
he goes fall over.
Yeah, he makes plunk. That they had that cartoon, so it was like a little cascade.
He was making his own music.
But it ruined it. And what they said was, you have to understand this. What this guy talks about, that John Williams beautifully understands that sometimes the actual practical sound in a scene is its own musical source. And I think what they're saying is that the jeopardy is greater with the sound of the and I kind of get that because I think the scene I think it's staged beautifully well. To Richard's point, the action is very well choreographed. It makes sense. Brent eventually falls off the back of it and he swung around.
And where his feet actually hit the ground.
It's just the cuts back and forth between we're outside, we're inside, we're outside. We've got the stunt double. We've got James Franciscus.
Those are jarring. But imagine if it didn't do that. This would actually be probably the best action sequence.
It'd be amazing. Yeah.
The only thing that I wish they had done is that moment when the stunt actor falls off the back and he's right
back up.
I wish they would have cut in
to his
so
closer.
We saw the jeopardy of him pulling himself back up. I needed that.
Where it felt more treacherous to him.
Yeah. So and what you usually do in these moments is that, it's silent, 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 and suddenly when he goes to throw something around him, then the music comes on and goes dun 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 dun, and it comes in and it's, oh my God, now I'm tense.
The fight begins.
That's how I found this scene weird. It doesn't follow that kind of thing. It just sort of peters out.
Well, I had one little note to begin the scene. You always have to check your side and rear view mirrors in case you get human hop-ons, because you're always going to get hop-on. This is why you look not your eye, just left and right. Don't turn your head.
So stunt double opens up the back of the door, hops on top of the casket. Brent in studio reaches with some type of
It's like the whip or something.
whip
for the
or
horse
harness or
something.
whatever, pulls